Hey, there she is.
Okay, got it. Oh, cool. We're live on YouTube right away, huh?
Woo woo!
Let me see. Where are you at? You're at the beach still.
No, I'm headed back to up the river towards Newburgh.
Right on. Well,
Yes.
I know you're a Florida boy and you like more heat, but the fall and the springs is the best and you're missing it. So
I definitely enjoy the spring
you like the spring better?
out there.
The spring is more volatile than the fall.
I'm okay with volatile.
Are you? Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, I don't know how much time you have today.
I've got some time. I want to just sit and chat with you and spend time with you and enjoy our conversation because it's always incredible and it's always amazing and great. So I just want to say thank you for your time.
Oh yeah.
And I know anybody that catches on to this now or in the future will be blessed by tuning in. So
For sure. So you want me to jump right in with what I wanted to share and celebrate with you?
sure, absolutely. Let's
Cool.
kick it off.
So I want to do it on your chart too, because I'm pretty sure I have your chart saved in my library. So on the My Body Graph, there's a couple things that I discovered last night, which I should have been able to discover them before, but you know how sometimes things just go over your head or they just whiz right by and you're like, oh, that was cool. Well, last night, okay, so Bobby, I was working with Bobby for a couple hours, and on our doTERRA team, we've used Strengths Finders for years, and Strengths Finders is amazing. But when I found Human Design, I was like, wow, I don't even need Strengths Finders anymore. It's identical, but body Human Design, sorry, actually goes into more depth and teaches you how to use your design to do different things. It gives you a guide, it gives you ideas, it gives you experiments. So anyways, I went through Bobby's entire chart, and as I was doing that, I hovered over the channels, and when you have connected channels, the body graph tells you more about why it's so cool that that channel is connected. Have you done that on your chart yet?
Say that again. Channels?
What? Oh, the channels, yeah.
Yeah, I missed the part about the channels.
I was just saying, have you used the My Body Graph and clicked on your connected channels? Have you done that for yourself yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, I haven't. So do you want me to show you mine first, or do you want me to discover stuff on yours first?
No, go ahead. Tell me what you found on yours. That's the interesting
well,
part.
I haven't found anything on mine yet because I discovered it on Bobby's. So today is the first time I'm going to look at mine. But when I work with Robert, my human design coach, sometimes he says, oh, well, you did that because you have the bullshit radar. And I'm like, okay. So he would explain it to me like, you can, because you have this channel, you see the bullshit that other people, and that's why they don't come to you. That's why they don't talk to you. That's why whatever. I'm like, oh, cool. But now I know where he's looking. So do you want me to share?
Yeah, that I have that no bull signal as well.
I thought so. Are you?
What is that gate?
I'm gonna look right now. I think I know which one it is, because now that I made that connection in my brain, I remember him pointing to the channel in my gate or in my chart. So I'm like,
One of the lessons for today is stay hydrated, right? Stay hydrated. Drink your water. Drink agua.
Lots of agua. Especially in the high altitude. So at least you're lower altitude. You have some humidity. You can probably absorb it through your pores. We are getting sucked dry from our pores. And yeah.
My hands are so soft.
Nice, right? In comparison. And you drove out there, right?
Yeah.
So did you know that when you go into high altitude in the airplane, that basically your skin sucks in and it pulls all the moisture to the surface? So next time I go on the airplane, I'm going to make sure I bring all my facial care. And if you extra hydrate, as soon as you get to that higher altitude, it sucks all the hydration to the surface of your skin and helps you look younger and more vibrant.
I wonder if there's a way that you could reproduce that here on Earth, right? Like maybe stick your head in a bag and either vacuum it, suck
Yeah. Maybe keep an air hole, you know?
right.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
beauty
Anyway,
places, they might have figured that out and we're just discovering the idea of it. Oh, can you enable screen sharing? Otherwise, we'll just be verbal, which is fine, but
so you can look younger too.
right? All right, did you open it up? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So I'm just gonna stick with the one. So in the My Body Graph, which is free, and Titus, I don't know if I told you this already, but I'm gonna go ahead and invest in buying the whole back office platform because I really want to dive into some of the other pieces, but it's cool to still find the free pieces. So I want to look at mine and then I want to look at yours too. I think this is the bullshit channel. I'm not sure, but it's the channel of surrender, a design of a transmitter. And I don't know what the rest of this stuff means, but it says Neptune 6th line, Venus 3rd line. So what I always do, of course, is go to human design tools right after that. So what did we say? The channel of surrender. So human design tools, I'll go to channel and then channel of surrender, which is, I can find it faster if I look at that again. So 2644 is what that is. So I can scroll all the way down to 26 and 44, channel of surrender. So, and you have this one too, don't you, Titus?
No, as a matter of fact, I don't, but there's something about the surrender part. I think that's my 1-3 split of surrender or something like that.
Okay.
There's
And
surrender in my chart somewhere.
Okay, I don't have yours printed out. So once I look at yours on the computer, I can compare yours and mine here too. But the channel of surrender links the Spleen Center through the 44, the gate of coming to meet, to the 26, the gate of the taming power of the great in the heart center. This is the channel of the transmitter. The 44 is our oldest instinctual memory and resides in the bones, while the 26 has the ability to manipulate memory in the interest of improvement. Surrender is the result of combining fear of the old past, which is 44, with the willingness for improvement of 26. The creativity of this channel is in its ability to replace old standards with new ones. It brings an improvement to old concepts, particularly on the material level. Often we see products advertised as being new and improved. This is an example of how this channel operates. The 4426 is also referred to as the channel of the entrepreneur because of its ability to recognize what will appeal to the tribe. With support being the dominant theme of the ego circuit, however, transmitters can only replace the old with the new if they have the support. Likewise, it is a projected channel that needs to be recognized and invited to transmit their talent, which is different because as a manifester, I'm just meant to inform, not to be well, I do like to be recognized, but invited, yeah. That's quite different too. Useful tip to give people with this channel, tell them they pay close attention, tell them to pay close attention to smell. If they don't like the smell of someone, they need to stay away from them. People with this channel can smell something fishy, smell of rat, smell of success, even good stuff, smelling.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. It's
because I mean, for how many years have they been talking about smell a rat, smell a rat, smell a rat? Like, I think it's probably back in the old English times, right? And here it is, 100 and some odd years later, we have human design explaining what we've been doing or people have been doing for a long time.
Yeah, and it's literal, it's not figurative. It's literally you can smell. So pay attention to your smell.
Yeah, same thing with gut check, right? Yeah. You get a gut check, listen to your gut.
Right. And that's the thing I was explaining to Bobby too while I was typing out all her stuff in her chart is that it also could be open for the world. So when we look at our daily chart, sometimes we don't have certain gates or channels, but sometimes on this day or this week or this month, this channel, this gate is open for the world. And when you combine that with your other stuff, that's why sometimes you can get it done so naturally, and other times you try to repeat it and it doesn't happen because it was all about timing. Timing is everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And listening, because I've even figured out for myself, like there's certain times where I can feel like I think I go into like the full moon or something like that. And it's like, it can be a tough 3 days or so. And trying to fight that and trying to accomplish something, I've learned to just sit in it and relax a little bit through those 3 or 4 days and not try and get stuff done.
And you're so good at staying in your flow, which is exactly why that's a part of your mission and your values and everything before you even found human design. And I'm more the person that would love to look at the chart and like kind of plan for it, whereas you can feel it and you're like, nope. And you don't care. I mean, you probably care. If you looked at the chart, you'd be like, well, duh, I felt that. I knew that. But you also you're like, I'm nowhere near a chart. I can't look at it, but I can tell that this is happening and this is not. And there's my resistance, and I'm not going there. So.
And so I used to do the I should or could and giving myself the guilt trip. Oh, I should be doing this and guilt tripping myself out. And now I've learned, no, if I'm feeling like I should go there or do this, I'm going to go with the flow and feel through that. Like going to the beach. I woke up today and my eyes open. And I'm like, I was laying in bed for less than 5 minutes. I'm like, go to the beach. Boom. And I went.
It's awesome. Yeah. And you're just harnessing your flow and you're doing it and you're not hesitating. You're not doubting it. You're just going with it. And so many good things happen when you do that. And like I said, I don't have your chart printed out, but I forgot to count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 or 7 connected gates. So I have that many channels. So the next one I was looking at here is between 16 and 48. So that's the spleen center connected to the throat center. Mine is, my other one also was unconscious, completely connected in only the red. And this one is also completely connected only in the red. So the channel of wavelength is here to bring the intuitive expression of logic to the throat. Notice again that this channel has no direct access to energy. That means that talent and mastery have to be recognized by others when the timing is right, which is for me pressure. Like I don't need to accept that pressure, but that's what I feel right away when I hear that. Talent is expressed through practice over time, but talent also struggles for resources and money because it has to be seen to be supported. The arts are always hungry for money and support. This is why shows and exhibitions are important for artists of all types. They have to be seen. This channel represents the intuitive expression of talent blended together with repetition over time. Talent is raw and undeveloped without practice. Everyone has some kind of talent. The question is, are you willing to practice to become a master? Mastery happens over time. The energy for enthusiasm and depth is contained in this channel. There is right timing in this channel. Do not express the depth with enthusiasm until you are ready. You have practiced and achieved mastery. Otherwise, you look silly.
Can I give you some perspective on that for you?
For sure. Because that one was more completely over my head.
So at the very first beginning part there, you're talking about feeling that pressure, right? That's you in the crock pot cooking. And then if you go to the second or the last bit of that paragraph there, it says, if you are willing to go through it.
Right. And
so I felt like I've got a couple years on you. And so I've felt that pressure.
Yeah.
And now, like the other day, I was listening to this podcast and he was talking about the 5 things of leadership, blah, blah, blah. And I realized, and I sat down and wrote them all out. I took notes on it. And I realized that I've come to a point in life where I do all 5 of them. It's like encourage, speak to their heart. Number 5 was to encourage their heart. And that's the last thing that's happened to me is I discovered my heart. Boom.
Well, and
Oh,
something you made me think of too, Titus, and I love teasing you because you have a few years on me, but you have almost exactly 10 years on me. So not rubbing it in or anything, but you're in a good place because you've read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And my favorite chapter is Sexual Transmutation, which talks about people coming into themselves when they're 50 and or around 50. And the human design also recognizes that. So for me, I'm on the roof, which means I'm in observation. I'm observing a lot of things, and other people are also observing me. And somewhere between 48 and 52 for me when I hit. So I feel like I fall more into the masculine piece of this because manifestors do have a more masculine energy, and I've always known that. So when I read it, because of that I'm a manifestor, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I actually have two fathers, a birth father that I see very often, and my dad that married my mom when I was 3, and I grew up with him as well, and my heavenly father. And I have 3 brothers, and I had some stepsisters that were both tomboys. My mom was a tomboy, all my stepbrothers. So I've always been surrounded and comfortable in the male presence, and that is very intimidating to some people. And I never understood why, and it's because they didn't understand my energy. And I look forward to turning 50 because then that's when I come off the roof and can really explore more of the being, I'll have to look it up later, but being a role model and more in my different pieces. I think you might be frozen a little bit unless you're just very stoic. Okay.
yeah. It's so interesting. The more you and I hang out and talk, it just boggles my mind. I also have 2 dads.
Okay.
I was born Larry Pence Jr. and then changed my name. Interesting story is, for the longest time, I knew my mom and I had a different story on how I changed my name. She had her story. She said she picked it out. I said I picked it out. Right. And so I'm like, my mom, she thinks she picked my name out. And I said, I swear I picked my name out.
Uh-huh.
So I stopped by my dad's place on my way to North Carolina. And he goes, well, you might have picked out the names, but I picked out the TJ. And I said, what? I said, there's 3 different sides to this whole story here, and I'm the right one.
Well, and you guys were probably in the right timing and you guys were melded where it happened together, and you all think it was you, but it was probably the combination of all of you. And had that not occurred, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah. I think of all those small nuclear explosions that happen. As a matter of fact, when I was out at the beach, I was just talking about, what if each person was the end of the synapses or those little connections in the brain? What if each person was that connector, that end of that connector? And whenever we got together, we popped like that, pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
And we're creating that experience. I don't know if you've ever looked at mycelium, or what mycelium is to the mushroom and what that is to the biological planets and Earth. It's incredible. It's really incredible. So anyway, I'm diverting, but
No. That's cool.
yeah.
No, I don't have the visual of that, but I can follow a little bit.
So think of
talking.
the roots of the tree.
Okay.
And how complex that is when you really look at all the small little vines and veins. Well, in the mind, like if you see something, it goes into your eye, and then there's like a billion trillion whatever electrical signals that go from your eyeball to the brain and then form that image like this, right? What you and I are seeing, it's formed by light and whatever, tones and whatever. But it's all electricity.
Yeah.
Well, right now, you and I, even though we're miles apart, we are creating that snap and that pop, that nuclear explosion, like you're talking about, the 3 of us coming together for that story.
Right. And that's why things are so cool, because I've told people this before, and I was thinking about this for you today. It doesn't matter where you are on the earth. We can still be connected. You don't have to be in the same room with someone. You don't have to, there's so much you don't have to have. But when you open a channel of availability, then you can connect with anyone anyway.
So here's the thing, right? They've been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Technology has just helped solidify that.
Right.
Because think how long ago people were tapping into the spirit,
Right.
years and years ago.
Right.
And that's where it really happened. That connection is really where it happens, is in the spirit.
Yeah. And I forget what movie it is. It's probably in a book too, but I'm a movie girl. But where they share a story about monkeys that on this island kept eating bananas that were full of sand, because they would open the bananas and it would fall in the sand and then they would have to eat it. Well, simultaneously, when one monkey on one side of the island that couldn't even see or hear or anything, one of the monkeys went to the water and rinsed the banana off, and so it had no sand on the banana and ate it. Simultaneously, another monkey on the other side of the island did the same exact thing. So their thoughts were connected, and that resource and that idea, once it happened for one, it happened for all.
It's like, how many times do you have an idea and you're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then like 6 months later, you see it on the shelf, or even 2 months later, you see it on the shelf, because you just caught one of the signals coming through the atmosphere.
Or you gave one away, and if you didn't take action on it, if it was meant for you and you didn't take the action, someone else will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So I'm going to share screen again. I paused it for a minute because that was awesome. So the other channel right here between the throat center and the G center is the channel of the prodigal, a design of a witness. So let's see. It's the gate of fellowship with man to the gate of retreat in the throat. The last channel in the abstract collective. The prodigal is one who goes into the world, then returns to his village or tribe and shares the knowledge it found, typically by saying, I remember ... Everything autobiography and biography ever written represents this channel. For this channel, the experience is less in doing and more in listening to what others say or what others have to say, and discovering the secrets of the world and then sharing them. The 13.3 then is the natural close of the maturation process in each cycle. This is the bard of ancient times who travels the kingdom collecting the news, the gossip, and the stories, which he would then share at every court he visited, usually in the form of a tale. In this way, everyone in the kingdom had the opportunity to reflect on the kingdom at large. As a projector channel, the 1333 relies for its success upon being recognized and invited. The great bards of the old world had a standing invitation at all the courts, and the lesser ones had an invitation in the commons of all the villages. For centuries, this was the tradition that supported human knowledge. It is the 1333 that insists we store our memory and share it at the same time. Store it as a memory, keep it alive as a memory, and then pass it on. There is a useful tip to give people with this channel. At the end of every day, every relationship, every meal, every movie, at the end of every experience, take a moment to reflect on it. The 33 gate is the gate of retreat. People with this channel should retreat and reflect after an experience so they can learn from the experience and then go out and share what they learned.
Boom, the hero's journey.
Sounds pretty fun to me too. Like sometimes some of the stuff I'm like, I don't know, like it's definitely the pressure, but that sounds fun. And sharing and the story of it, that's definitely why I'm so
drawn
to 1
million.
Did I see that
you're going to start a podcast?
Say that again?
Did I see that you're going to start a podcast?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
If I did, I wouldn't know what to do it on. But I like being on other people's stuff and just talking to them.
Well, you're
about
always welcome here. You're always welcome here.
Thank you. And see, now I want to look at your chart. It's hard to, I'm going to bring up another talking body graph. It's my body graph. I'm gonna pull up a tab with yours because it's just driving me crazy to not see it. Okay, so yours is, this is the channel I was just talking about. Yours is open in the 13, but not connected to the 33. But you see, you have the 4816 like I do, except for yours is conscious, whereas mine is unconscious, except your 48 is also open in the unconscious. So I know we have a lot of similarities, but that's a big one. And then the other channel, let me go back to mine. Okay, the one that goes, oops, the one that goes, darn it. Okay, let me go back and forth. Okay, you don't have the 4426, but this next one.
You're missing some lines.
What's that?
You're missing some lines.
In your,
Uh-huh.
let's see. Let
Yeah,
me make sure.
there's a setting. Yeah, there's a setting that you can see view all and just view some. Like you might be looking at all the solid stuff and not, you know, how they do blends. Sometimes they'll do a blend.
Where, let's see,
Yours
my
has a
body
blend.
graph. Is it in the talking body graph?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. It just,
Yeah.
it looks like missing a couple lines, but no worries.
Maybe you could show me another time, but this next one that I have, you also have. So the channel of community 4037. So this one's mine. Oops, I switched out of yours. Let me go back to yours. You also have the 4037. So I'm going to go to that in, let me close this one out. What did I say? 4037. So that is the channel of community. Links the heart through 40 and the gate of deliverance to the 37, to the gate of the family in the emotional center. It is the bargain that underlies everything tribal. I'll do it for you if you'll do for me blank. The 4037 is part of the touch stream of senses in which handshakes, hugs, and bargains are expected and honored. In a very basic sense, every human is existentially alone. This channel bridges that state and allows us to form communities in which everyone has their place and function and receives honor and respect. Where on the splenic side, the energy is for the individual to get ahead. Over here on the emotional side, the energy is for getting together, for working together and living together. Over here, we invest in each other and in the group. We support the community with the things money can't buy. In community, there is little evidence of hierarchy. No one feels superior or inferior because everyone willingly contributes to what they can in order to be included, to feel they are a part of it all. And I know you very much give a lot of the things that people can't recognize as having monetary trade. So that one, I really like that one too.
I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like I said, I share that channel, and I think that's why the martial arts school I was with for 12 years, I couldn't stay there, and I struggled for years. It took me 3 years to quit that job because I could feel there was a hierarchy and everyone pushed their hierarchy. And even though we were supposed to be a community of celebration and love and support and helping and learning, I didn't feel that. So when things, when people say things and do things differently and they don't line up, in the past, it's taken me a long time to realize that. I always took people at their word and I didn't look at their actions. And so when I read
one
that,
of the things that I've learned over the course of the last couple of years is time will tell.
yes.
And so I've learned not to so quickly rush in and just to sit back and observe a little bit, and time will tell.
Right. It definitely will. And then we have the same one, the solar plexus connected to the root center from 49 to 19. That is also a connection that we share in our body graphs. So let me go to that one. So 19 to 49, that's the synthesis channel. So it links the root center to the 19, like we just said, in the gate of approach. So 19's gate of approach. 49 is the gate of revolution in the emotional center. On the emotional side, we leave the realm of money and enter the realm of belonging. The 1949 has the sensitivity to know who belongs in the tribe and who doesn't. The support of the tribe is so deep that every member owes their life to every other member. There's nothing democratic or abstract about that. And I can definitely say that's what I want. And that's what I've been waiting for. Not just one-on-one. One-on-one, I feel so much connection, but in a community, in a tribe, I struggle. And that's where I've been kind of focusing recently. Most of human history has been lived in tribes. In the tribe, it is very simple. It is a very simple arrangement of love, honor, and obedience that holds it all together. The basic needs of the tribe are security, shelter, food, protection for their young. The 1949 channel is part of the stream of physical sensitivity in the tribe ego circuitry. It negotiates the world through the sense of touch, bringing people together, deciding who's in, who's out, and who gets what. It's also very sensitive to its own position, wanting to be needed to give support and needing to be wanted to be supported. When we look at the channel from this perspective and remember that it is projected channel, we see that for the 4919, waiting to be invited is the critical first step. Their emotional response over time to being invited is critical to their happiness, which again, I think I'm struggling with this because as a manifester, I am so focused, I suppose, on being informing and feeling like I should want something. And that's my problem. I don't want, there's one little more paragraph here. And then I want to hear what you're thinking there. The pressure of the 19 to be connected can draw them into associations that are joyful if they adhere to their type and emotional clarity. Absent an invitation or lacking emotional clarity, they can wind up in relationships that are criticized by constant rejection of self and others.
So emotional clarity, I'll touch on that in a second, but that first little bit about being invited and manifesting, yeah, because I would be the person that would see the problem, have the solution, and jump in to fix it.
Right.
And not being invited to fix it. And that would cause frustration.
Yeah, you shared that with me before in a couple other circumstances too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, now I've come to the realization just to let people go and experience it on their own and learn the lesson on their own, as opposed to me trying to save them.
Unless they invite you, right?
Yeah. And then if they're open and willing to having my support and help, then absolutely. Yeah.
I wonder if that has been more clear for you as a father or as a friend.
Definitely as a father, because I used to be very much to my children, listen to what I have to say because I'll save you the pain. Listen to what I have to say because I'll save you the hurt. I'll save you from dealing with it. I just have better and more knowledge. And now I've come to the point in their lives, because they're older, to say, okay, go experience it, feel it, and then you'll learn that way, right? Quit listening to what I have to say and go listen, go do it, and then come back to me and for that feedback, and I'll give you the feedback at that point.
Right. And you said because they're older, but it's because you just found like some of this verbalization. So knowing this now, do you think that even when they're 5, you could have had that conversation with them, and how much more would that have changed your interaction and your bonding?
Because what is a little kid? It's just a small person, right?
Yeah.
It's just a small person. Everybody's a person. We're just small people.
Right. Yeah.
So, and what do? We just continually go through our life remembering.
And
I remember. Oh,
right,
yeah.
Right. And we typically raise our children with what our human design is, because we think that, I mean, if we're even living in our design, that's the issue, is that some people aren't living in their design.
Right.
But then they can see their kids have success with what they're doing, learning that they're, it's strange how we can influence one another in that way.
And that goes back to that little nuclear pop.
Right.
That when people come together, and when it's 1 and 2, when it's 5, that's called synergy, right? We also talk about synergy.
Right.
That's what building a small team of people to be synergistic, you can get things done.
Right. Yep, for sure. I think there's one more channel that I have that I didn't go through, which is this one, and I want to see both of ours on that 4919 were connected with conscious with the black. But 1858, do you have that one? Mine's connected unconscious. See, a lot of my connections are unconscious. Just one is conscious. So 1858. So that's the channel of judgment. Judgment can pose some serious challenges to those who carry this energy. First of all, notice that this channel is way far down in the chart and has no access to the throat. And also notice that this is one of the energy centers in this circuit, the root. One of the challenges of logic is getting the energy to the throat. This is why logic is so tenuous. It has to be proven over time and meets with resistance until it stands the test of time. Oh, we just talked about that. The channel of judgment is purely projected, meaning it serves best when others ask for it. It contains the intuitive and energetic ability to make things correct in order to create a perfect expression of the joy of life. Imagine how hard it must be to watch others doing things in less than perfect ways. Then you know exactly how to make it more correct, and you can't say anything to fix it unless you're recognized or asked. This energy can be exceptionally challenging, especially if you also have the energy of opinions, which is gate 17 in your chart. Okay, I gotta look real quick. Do I have gate 17?
Mine.
Where?
That's mine.
Oh, that one's yours. Thank you. I haven't memorized where the numbers are yet. I don't even see the 17 yet. Do you see it?
No, and it's like super small on my screen right now.
Right, I bet. I'm just gonna look one more second. Okay,
Yeah,
mine's
no,
not
take
open. The 17's in the ajna, and I only have the 11 open in the ajna. So, whew, it's not as tough, which is good.
Well, there's the thing about being open and defined, right? So we can talk about that at some point. But anyway, go carry on.
Okay. This energy is also exceptionally difficult for projectors. The bottom line of this channel is what, in order to be heard and for you to have the platform to correct it in a correct way, you must wait for recognition if you have this channel. If you do not wait, then you run the risk of being perceived as critical by others, and no one likes to be criticized. The beauty of this channel is that the correction in the 18 leads to the 58, which is the joy of life. When the 18 waits to be recognized, they clear the path for the perfected expression of the joy of life, the root result of the logical stream. I very much feel that one. And isn't it funny how many of these things are actually projector pieces? Did you know when I sleep, I don't have that piece in my chart yet, but Robert showed me I'm a projector when I sleep. So,
it's pretty cool, huh?
it's different. And see, that's all the unconscious. So duh, when you're sleeping, you're unconscious. So I was created unconsciously this way, and I'm a manifester, but when I sleep, I'm still unconsciously doing this. So maybe someone will have some comments for us on that and tell me more. But I think I went through all of mine. I want to count how many you have connected. We did talk about this one, so that's one. This one, is that the same? Nope, that one's different for me. So I think looking at your graph, the only
that one that you just clicked on, that one connection from to my heart.
This one's you, the 4037?
No, the black one between the red and yellow. Yeah. No, go down, yellow, and the one below it. There you go. That black one there.
Right.
Yeah, what gate is that?
Okay, that is the channel of discovery. So that is the 2946. Let me go to that real quick. Discovery. So the channel of discovery links the sacral center through the 46, which is the gate of pushing upward, to the 29, the gate of the abysmal in the G center. In the traditional I Ching, the 29th gate is known as abysmal, It is the deep within the deep. The 46th gate is pushing upwards into the kingdom of heaven in the ancient language. The 46th gate has the knack of being physically in the right place at the right time, which is totally you, because you listen to your gut. The 29 is the gate of perseverance that is enhanced by responding yes to what is correct. And you're really good at that too. You could probably give us some examples of when you said yes to things that weren't correct, don't you think?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
But a lot less since you listen to stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
In the traditional I Ching, the 29th gate is known, it's repeating a little bit. Oh, did I read that right already? No, okay. It is the deep within the deep. This is not abysmal as in being terrible or negative. It is about the sacral center being a never-ending well of energy. On the other end of the channel, you have the 46th gate, which is endlessly high. In the I Ching, the 46th gate is pushing. Oh, I did read that. Sorry. We just needed to hear it again. Imagine a line going from the center of the earth to the ends of heaven. Since the 46th is in the G center, it is about the self being in the right place. Since the 29 is in the sacral center, it is about having an unlimited amount of energy to get to that right place. This channel then is about understanding that if you are totally absorbed in a process, you are exactly in the right place at the exact right time. This channel can then bring transformation through a total commitment. It is called the channel of discovery because this place and time is an ongoing process of discovery. Anyone with the 29 has a built-in availability and tendency to say yes to almost any situation, which can result in them up giving away their energy wholesale. That's worded a little weird, but I read it right. Thus, it is critical that they commit from their own authority, and in doing so, find themselves committed to succeeding where others fail. Perhaps the greatest lesson for someone with the 2946 channel is that when they have committed to an experience from a clear sacral response, is that they will proceed totally with the experience, regardless of other, particularly mental considerations. Herein lies the success. Have you experienced that, Titus?
I just was thinking about with Emily and how I was, even though I'll say my heart wasn't in it, I was driven to the end of the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the experience per se.
Right.
And so it's just how it's the relationship in it is different. But I'm still in it for with the experience. And so let's make the best of the experience now and how it looks now.
Yeah. Okay, so then I always like the last one. It gives some more insight. So in other words, anyone with this channel must be careful to commit based upon their sacral response and authority. And you're good at that, right? That is your design. You have a center for that, right? So that's a blessing. Imagine if you didn't have that, you'd be like, oh my gosh. Once committed, they will have to finish the experience no matter how long it may take, even years. Remember that in the abstract circuitry, one learns from experience after the experience is over, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. They have got to wait until the experience is over to be able to see if anything was discovered. While it is happening, you can only follow your strategy. In the big picture, no matter what happens through failure and success, if you are following the strategy, you will always be in the right place at the right time because you will come out of it with the right kind of experience that you can share. So the experience is for you. I think sometimes we feel like, oh, if I can learn this, then I can help others not make the same mistake, but it's not about helping others. It's about you being able to verbalize it for yourself is kind of what I'm thinking as I read it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things as far as doing it for yourself that because I was just talking to somebody yesterday about, they were talking about their kid and how they do all this, how they do everything for their kid. Mm-hmm. And I was like that as well. I'm like, what, just really pouring into my children and even working a lot I would say I'm doing it for the kids or doing it for the family. And it was a sacrifice. And now I look at it as, like you're saying, doing it for me. Now I look at it as, okay, I need to start taking care of me. It's that self-love, that self-care that lets you live that experience for you, the knowledge that you get for you, the profit and the benefit for you, for me. And we talk about energy, right? And how I'm supposedly giving that stuff, the energy away wholesale. Now I'm realizing, okay, now I'm not going to give it away wholesale. Now it is for me. And I've been talking lately, this transition or this play to North Carolina has been about feeding the lion.
Okay. And I bet if you asked your kids, they would say that they're just like us when it comes to being proud of one another. So when our kids are in their flow and we see them succeeding and doing what they love to do, we're so proud of them and we're so happy and we get to witness that. Our kids feel the same way. And my daughter's having a hard time with her dad. I've been divorced from him for, I don't know, 16 years, long time. Maybe 15, but anyways, she is upset with him and she tells me, well, he just needs to go do something. All he cares about is one other thing, and us kids, me and Mateo. And I was like, well, that's a good thing, right? That he cares about you guys. And she's like, yeah, but it's too much. He needs to go get his own life. I was like, ouch. But that's from the mouth of his own child, that she wants him to go be interested in other things.
There's a human design connection there.
Okay.
Right. And the same thing with me. I am a lot for my kids. I'm a lot for a lot of people. I'm too much, right? They're like,
are you? I would never say that. Who says that?
I get the impression a lot of people say that.
Really? I've never heard anyone say that about you.
Yeah. And they're like, I need Titus in smaller doses.
Maybe that's why we're friends, because yeah, I think people say that about, well, I know people say that about me too.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I need that XY person in smaller doses. Same thing with your daughter and her dad. Yeah. Right? She just needs him in smaller doses.
Okay. Right. So at this point, it's been once every 6 months for 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
And that's not what we want as parents. So if parents could be more in their design and allow their children to be in their design, then that would just alleviate so many things.
I think one of my kids is going through a stage of, I want some me time. I don't need you as much right now.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
I don't need you much right now, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But just tell me. Yeah. Just say, right, I'm good right now. Give me some space. Right. If kids could tell their parents to give them some space, just that alone, I think that would be very beneficial to the relationship. If a child could learn to express or say or speak when they just need time and space.
Right. What's your strategy, Titus?
What's strategy say? What's it mean? Like
my strategy is to inform. Is yours to
I think I would know this by now.
If I had your chart printed, I could find it. I don't know how to find it on the My Body graph. Well, you have
the right angle path of service.
Keep going, not that.
The strategy would be an emotional choice strategy. Emotional authority. Single definition, 1-3 investigating and martyr.
Nope.
I don't know.
There's one other part you're missing. So there's the type, profile, strategy, and then it is part of the strategy. So my strategy comes from my solar plexus because I am an emotional decision maker, but my strategy is as a manifester to inform. So let me go here because you're a manifesting generator, right?
Yes.
So as a, oh, it's not in this one. Oh no, because it's generator. Okay. I always get confused because a manifesting generator is a generator. So, okay, manifesting generators. It's responding. Okay, so your strategy is to respond. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. The reward for being patient and responding to life is that you will get your unique life. Responding naturally to the flow of life coming to you as a manifesting generator is ultimately the most efficient and satisfying way that your energy can be used. So see, and I don't know if you're talking about your son or your daughter. I have a feeling it's one of your boys.
Madeline.
Okay. Do you know what she is?
I don't. Oh, maybe I can look. Let me
Yeah,
see
you
if I
should
have
look.
her chart.
Because if she's
I
not a
thought-
manifester, she's not going to inform you.
She's a generator.
Okay, so as a generator, she's not a manifesting generator. She's a generator, right?
Yeah.
Pure generators are people.
That's funny. I love this stuff because you know what? Her heart and ego center is defined.
Okay.
And it's defined well, right? And so when people try and redefine that, she stands her ground.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's good. That's funny.
I'm trying to see. Okay, generators usually initiate action. Oh, well, this one, never mind. Well, let me just read it because it should be in the first couple paragraphs here. So generators are the people who provide continual power and life force energy to the world. These are the people with staying power. The sacral center in the body is the key to their pure power. It creates the vital life force required for action, living life, doing and creating. It is also the center of our sexuality and thus ensures the continuation of our kind. Pure generators are people who have their sacral center activated and turned on all the time, but have no connection to the human manifestation and expression center, which is the throat center. Most of us have been taught, cajoled, and brought up as children to believe that we must initiate action. There is this faulty belief in the world that we should all just do it because we believe that we are manifestors who can. So if she's a generator that's acting as a manifestor, it doesn't sound like she is because so that's good. The greatest lesson for a generator is to learn to respond to life from their gut. So they are to respond as well. So if you're both waiting for each other, we have the same issue with Brian and his dad and his brother and one of his friends that they're all waiting for each other. And I'm like, you guys are driving me nuts. Like somebody has to do this.
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, you're both, if there's that misunderstanding, it's because you're both waiting on the other person to do something that they're not created to, that's not, it'll happen in the right time, right? When the world map comes around to that place. And it'll probably happen to you at the same time. And then you'll both do it at the same time, like your parents with your name and all that. So that's
and it will be beautiful.
Exactly. So did you all come together and decide to change your name, you and your parents at the same time? Like
when he adopted me, they said, we're going to change your last name. Do you want to change your whole name?
Wow. And
so when he got into the construction industry down in Florida, he worked for a guy, his name was Tommy something, and they called him TJ.
Okay.
And so when they were changing my name, he was like, oh yeah, TJ would be cool because he wanted to honor his teacher.
Cool.
And so, and then my mom had, she said she picked it out and I picked it out, and he says he helped pick it out. So,
Well, and how old were you? That is so cool to get to choose your name, and for your parents to be so cool to ask you. Most parents would just change your last name. Oh, your name is your name. Like they wouldn't even think about changing your name.
yeah. Well, and then to go into from a Larry to a Titus, to go into that biblical name,
Okay.
there's a lot of power and anointing to that. So, but anyway, yeah, I was about the age of 11. I going into 4th grade, and I was a year behind. So
Okay. I wonder what Misty said about that. When does she know with the handwriting stuff, your name changes? Did she talk about that with you?
does Misty?
Yeah.
Misty?
Yeah. I might have cut off for a second there. I was just saying, I wonder what Misty's analysis was. Did she go through your name changes? That's cool. That's another discussion.
Yeah. She and she would be able to say it better. I don't know if that conversation was recorded or not. Yes, we did, because she is saying something about the L and then how the T gives me insight, and so I can stand up on the top part of that T and overlook the plain and see down the road and see future and insight.
So do you sign your T's with the slant at the top?
Slanted up.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So, well, my dear, you're awesome. You're wonderful. You're amazing. It's been an incredible pleasure to hang out with you this morning.
Yes, thank you. That was great. I learned so much, and now I'm glad I can see more parts of the chart. You'll have to teach me the other part that you were mentioning another time.
Yes, ma'am. You have a great day.
Okay, you too.